So holy crap everybody, Don't Hug Me I'm Scared 6, the final installment of the series, is out and the internet's been getting their speculations on what it all could mean. And seeing how I've been enamored by this series since the very beginning, why not see if I can find a theory that pins it just right? If you've never seen the show before, Don't Hug Me I'm Scared is the brainchild of Becky Sloan and Joe Pelling, featuring puppets being taught valuable lessons by other puppets, very similar to likes of Sesame Street. Only difference is that by the end,
wear this ring and
join the king! It isn't always fun. The videos are very surreal and I highly recommend them, especially right now, since this theory is going to encapsulate all 6 episodes. So go ahead, start watching them. Pause this video right now and go watch them. I don't even care if you interrupt me. Literally, just interrupt me in the middle of this sentence if you haven't seen it before and go watch it. Okay, cool. So let's go. First of all, let's talk about episodes 1 through 5 and the theories that most people have had about them, since it's going to be building on one of those theories. The traditional formula for an episode of Don't Hug Me I'm Scared is that they're in their fun little environment doing whatever when a teacher comes out of nowhere and starts singing to them about some kind of lesson. But as they start to question it or maybe apply it, the teachers stop them in some way, contradicting what they've already been teaching. Then after a while it just breaks down into madness, sometimes with a character dying. What? Yeah, like that. There have been theories left and right about what it all means, from them being in the Matrix, to them being trapped in purgatory, to them being stuck in 2 different worlds at once. But one of the most notable theories is that it's all a metaphor for the media brainwashing children through their children's shows, which definitely has a lot of credence towards it, considering how controlling and manipulative these teachers can be. It's also kind of supported by the fact that every episode has differing levels of fantasy and reality, usually most of the horrendous stuff happening in a fantasy setting while reality is untouched. Kind of like how a TV show works, because you watch TV and bad stuff happens, but it doesn't happen in real life. It can even explain what happened to the red guy in the Duckman friendo. At the end of the 4th episode, Red Guy entered an arena that appeared to be a set for an episode of Don't Hug Me I'm Scared. It's like he's learning that this fantasy world he's been watching all this time was never real. Just like being told that Kermit's just a puppet, the whole thing loses a sense of magic for him, and he realizes it's all fake and for show, which leads to him dying or no longer watching this kid's show. Birdman, on the other hand, who's been shown in the past to be quite an intellectual, begins to question the logic of the world and its many plot holes, and eventually just decides he's done watching the show. And then he got eaten. Yeah, I'm still working on an explanation for that one. Okay, now on to what you all came to see, episode 6. The episode starts with Yellow all alone in his room, talking about how much he misses his friends who have moved on, as you can see by Red getting a degree of sorts. I feel like he'd major in, agriculture or something. Yellow's the only one still watching this show. The song starts up again and we're back off to the races with a lamp singing about dreams and stuff. Although there's something very different. Yellow clearly doesn't like these songs and is very clearly protesting it, so why doesn't he get let out like the others? He doesn't want to watch it anymore, but why is he still trapped? We'll get to that later. So after the lamp drowns him in oil, as lamps do, we're then brought to Red, who is in what seems to be reality. He's working at a corporate cubicle job and is asked to file papers by a bunch of other people just like him. Upon receiving the file, he asks,
"Hey, but wouldn't it be funny if one of these files came alive? Yeah, I am a file and you put documents in me and a file."
Clearly, he's still holding on to some memories back in his days of Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, but it's obvious that his coworkers just aren't interested in what he's making, and that, although it's hard to see it, he stands out. He's a creative type. He has imagination. He's the kind of guy who's bursting with this weird imagination, inspired by those times he spent watching the show with his friends, when he experienced the show with them. And he's shown to have a passion and a talent to share that experience with the world, taking the stage at a local pub and singing the songs he knew so well. But while the patrons of the pub weren't big fans, one person noticed Red's passion and talent. It was Roy. I don't know why I did that, it was really creepy. This strange goblin man of a character that's been everywhere since episodes 2 to 5, and everyone's been trying to figure out just what his deal is. June 19th and the final episode being released on Father's Day, a bunch of people assumed that the yellow guy's father would play a big role in this story, and boy were we right. It turned out that he was behind all the teachers using a strange machine that summoned them at will. But why? Who is Roy? I believe that Roy represents a kids show creator, but not just any kids show creator. A kids show creator who's only in it for the money. The one who puts the profit over artistic integrity or a good show, because we've seen people who make shows with no respect for their audience and only wants to make a profit in real life too, right? Roy is a studio executive that's been making this show full of half-baked messages and really bad writing. Now some of you may be saying to yourself, so what? He made a bad kids show. What's the harm in that? Well, something to keep in mind is that kids are our future, our next generation. And what we give them as children will be taken with them into adulthood, as we saw with Red. And sometimes if your messages are left unchecked, or if you attempt to teach them incredibly narrow ideals, it can do more harm than good. This also explains why Yellow is still trapped. His father made this show, and maybe his dad's forcing him to watch it, even if he doesn't want to watch it anymore. That's kind of supported by the abundance of Roy in his dream sequence. Always watching over him, forcing him to watch all the shows he's been making, even if it's traumatizing him and even if it's isolating him from his friends. So Roy sees the talents in Red and wants him to help him make more of the show. Hey, if you want bonus points, Roy keeping his distance can be sort of represented as how out of touch he is with the artist and all of those parts of the show that he's a part in. Red sees how much this show is hurting Yellow, so he pulls the plug, which leads to our ending, which is different and weird. But I have a way to explain it that I think is a bit of a happy ending. So here's how I see it, because I'm a pesky optimist. Now that Roy's original show has been canceled, Red decides he wants to make his own show for children. Maybe a show to succeed where Roy's show had failed. A show made with passion. A show that people could enjoy watching, that he could enjoy making. And he based the characters off of himself and his two best friends, changing them to their favorite colors. And that's where we end Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. On the set of Red's new show, June 19th turns to June 20th, as the next generation of children turn on their televisions and watch their show. The show begins. Some things different, many things the same. What is the fate of this new show Red has made? Does it brighten kids' days where Roy's show brought them sorrow? We don't know. But we do know that the cycle begins anew. A generation influences the youth through these shows, and then the youth grows up to make more of these shows for children. It's a wonderful cycle that, if we mess it up, it might end up badly. But if we do it right, we can make a beautiful cycle. I was kind of waxing poetic there, but you get the point. That's my interpretation. Did you guys like it? Hopefully you did. If you didn't, well, it's artistic interpretation. You can interpret it however you want, man. But hopefully you did enjoy it. And thank you very much for watching. Hey, look, a subscribe button.